Hollywood has always been filled with rivalries. But some celebrity feuds became much bigger than simple disagreements. They dominated headlines, divided fans, damaged careers, and sometimes changed the entertainment industry itself. Today we will talk about 15 celebrity feuds that changed Hollywood forever. So, before we start, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to my channel. 15. Taylor Swift and Katy Perry. Taylor Swift and Katy Perry were once friendly, but their relationship eventually turned into one of pop music's most famous rivalries. The conflict reportedly involved backup dancers and professional disagreements. Swift's song Bad Blood became widely associated with the feud, while Perry later responded through interviews and her own music. Their rivalry became a major example of how celebrity disagreements could become part of pop culture itself. 14. Vin Diesel and Dwayne Johnson. The Fast and Furious franchise became one of Hollywood's biggest movie series. But behind the scenes, tensions developed between Vin Diesel and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Johnson publicly criticized Diesel's professionalism and working style, while Diesel later discussed their differences and relationship. Their feud became so famous that Johnson eventually stepped away from the main franchise and developed the successful Hobbs and Shaw spin-off. 13. Joan Crawford and Bette Davis. Few Hollywood rivalries are as legendary as the feud between Joan Crawford and Bette Davis. Both women were enormous stars during Hollywood's golden age and developed a long-standing rivalry fueled by professional competition and personal disagreements. Their feud became even more famous when they starred together in Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, decades into their careers. The film turned their real-life rivalry into part of Hollywood mythology. 12. Sylvester Stallone and Richard Gere. Sylvester Stallone and Richard Gere reportedly clashed while working together on The Lords of Flatbush. Their personalities allegedly didn't mix well, and Gere was eventually replaced in the film. The story later became part of Hollywood folklore, especially after Stallone discussed the incident in interviews. It demonstrated how quickly conflicts between actors could affect casting decisions and careers. 11. Shannon Doherty and Jenny Garth. The stars of Beverly Hills 90210 became hugely famous during the show's run, but tensions reportedly existed between members of the cast. Shannon Doherty and Jenny Garth later spoke about their complicated relationship and the arguments that occurred behind the scenes. Their feud became part of the show's legendary history and reflected the intense pressure that can develop when young stars work together for years under enormous public attention. 10. George Clooney and Russell Crowe. George Clooney and Russell Crowe became involved in a public disagreement after Crowe reportedly made comments about Clooney and other Hollywood stars. Clooney responded publicly, turning the situation into an amusing but memorable celebrity feud. Unlike some rivalries, this conflict eventually became more of a Hollywood anecdote than a career-ending battle. But it showed how quickly comments between major stars could become entertainment headlines. 9. Sarah Jessica Parker and Kim Cattrall. The relationship between the stars of Sex and the City became increasingly complicated over the years. Sarah Jessica Parker and Kim Cattrall publicly denied that they were close friends, and their disagreements became a major topic among fans. After the original series ended, their relationship became even more heavily scrutinized when plans for another movie and later projects were discussed. The feud eventually became almost as famous as the television show itself. 8. Will Smith and Janet Hubert. The original Aunt Viv, Janet Hubert, left The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air after the show's third season, and the circumstances surrounding her departure became controversial. For years, Hubert and Will Smith had a strained relationship, with both discussing their different perspectives on what happened. Decades later, the cast reunited for an HBO Max special, where Smith and Hubert finally discussed their past conflict publicly. Their reconciliation became one of the most emotional moments in the show's history. 7. David Letterman and Jay Leno. The rivalry between David Letterman and Jay Leno became one of television's most famous battles. Both comedians were competing for the prestigious position of hosting The Tonight Show. When NBC chose Leno instead of Letterman, Letterman moved to CBS and eventually became Leno's direct late-night competitor. The resulting rivalry helped define late-night television for years and created one of the most famous professional competitions in entertainment history. 6. Madonna and Lady Gaga. Madonna and Lady Gaga have frequently been compared because both became major female pop icons known for provocative performances, fashion, and reinvention. Madonna publicly suggested that Gaga's music borrowed from her earlier work, while Gaga rejected the idea that her career was simply copying Madonna. 5. Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera. Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera began their careers around the same time as young performers on the Mickey Mouse Club. When both became massive pop stars in the late 1990s, the media constantly compared them. Their perceived rivalry became part of pop culture, with fans debating who was the better singer, performer, or artist. Although their relationship was more complicated than the media narrative suggested, the competition helped define the era of teen pop. 4. Gwyneth Paltrow and Winona Ryder. The friendship between Gwyneth Paltrow and Winona Ryder reportedly ended after a personal dispute involving a role in the film Shakespeare in Love. Paltrow ultimately won the Academy Award for Best Actress for the movie, making the story even more memorable. Years later, Paltrow discussed the incident publicly, turning what might have remained a private disagreement into one of Hollywood's most famous celebrity friendship stories. 3. Kanye West and Taylor Swift. One of the most famous celebrity conflicts of the modern era began at the 2009 MTV Video Music Awards. During Taylor Swift's acceptance speech, Kanye West interrupted her and argued that Beyoncé deserved the award. The incident became an enormous pop culture moment and sparked years of tension between the two celebrities. Their disagreements later became even more complicated through songs, interviews, and social media. 2. Ryan Murphy and the cast of Glee. The production of Glee became complicated by reports of tensions among cast members and behind-the-scenes disagreements. The show's enormous success created intense pressure, while its young cast members were dealing with sudden international fame. 1. Olivia de Havilland and Joan Fontaine. The rivalry between sisters Olivia de Havilland and Joan Fontaine is one of Hollywood's most fascinating family feuds. Both sisters became successful actresses and even competed in the same awards category during Hollywood's golden age. Their relationship became increasingly distant over the years, with public comments revealing the depth of their rivalry. What do you think about our video? Let me know in the comments below. Before you go, leave a like and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.